Mark, how do you assess today's game?
I thought the first half we were well in it. I thought there was nothing really to choose between the two teams in the first half, apart from I think we had the best chance of the first half when Ellis was put through. And it's interesting. The back line's up. We flip the ball in behind. Ellis is ready to go. He gets through, and then we don't take the chance. But that was a sort of symptomatic of the day. Really, there was just a lack of quality throughout for us. Passing was a little bit too firm when it was needed to be a bit softer. We couldn't get the ball down quickly enough. It was bouncing up when we were having a touch, which is unlike us totally. It just looked like that we were a bit nervy, or certainly didn't run hard enough. We didn't run hard enough. There was times when we had to move and we didn't get things right with a press. If one gets it wrong, then it goes wrong. But at the moment, they've not got that confidence to put it right on the pitch. So you end up shouting and screaming and losing your voice on the touchline. So you're trying to get people in position all the time, and it's just an easy thing to solve. Really, we're talking about front foot football. We're talking about people getting after teams, but we've got to be really careful. You've got to make sure that I've said it many times before. We've put a group of players together that are really talented players. There's no doubt. You've got to turn them into a team. And whilst they've looked at times through pre-season, the league season is a long one, and you get ups and downs throughout it. But when the support are sort of in the mode that this is they've been told this is the season, you've got to be really careful, because if not, the wheels will come off, and that is not an excuse. That is a reason to make sure that we keep calm and grounded, and we make sure that the team have given everything they can, or given everything that they can to put performances in on a consistent basis, which takes a bit of time. So, that's the key ingredient, really. Just need that little bit of time again, and I ask for it every season, but things change significantly every season. And just because you go, right, okay, this is our season, you can let that run away with you, and it breaks down because people can't cope with it. Unless they're ready for it, they can't cope with that expectation. So we need to do some work to make sure that when they're ready to play and do that properly against teams like Norwich, because Norwich are a good team. Let's not forget they're a team that weren't not been in the Championship for too long. They've been in the Premier League and up and down for a number of years now. So they've got some really good players, and they do things like that all the time. We are still a club that can't compete in terms of those levels of salaries that other clubs can pay. So, but we are far away in a better position than we were 12 months ago even, but certainly in the recent past it's in a good place. But people have to make sure they stay calm, they support the players, and they make sure that is something that happens to be able to get through to a position where we can have a coherent playing style and a way of playing and an understanding of that, and a confidence to keep repeating it. So it's just going to take a little bit of time.
I know you maintained a majority of your squad from last season, but you still brought in a lot of new players, haven't you? And that takes time for them to bed in, I guess.
Yeah, it does. And obviously you've got a different way of doing things, a different way of playing for them, because they've come from different clubs. And I think that really there's an expectation is great. It's fine. I think you want to have that, but you've got to have that realistic side as well. And first and foremost, you have to run and compete with a team to be able to earn the right to play. And they run, that he's got them running. And they've always done that. That's what a team, a successful Norwich team does, but it's what a successful team does. You've got to be prepared to run. I think we're playing too much in front. We try and play our way in too often. Where there's space, you've got to exploit the space, and we didn't do that well enough. I think that there were too many times where players were running into positions, and it was like a lack of thought. There was no thinking, there's no thought, which tells me that they're sort of freezing a little bit, and they're not playing. They're not in the moment. They're just playing the game, You have to have some thought. You have to have some tactical nous. You have to make sure that you can see space. You've got to make sure that we've got enough bodies behind the ball to make sure that we don't get counted on, whilst making sure we commit bodies forward and have a go at the opposition. So it was just disjointed. That was the overall takeaway from me. The poor goal we conceded, it was a really poor goal. And from that point on, it was just like it was, we've got to try and force our way in. We made poor decisions, went long when we didn't need to. We just keep playing. And that's something that we've got to, is going to take time. Clearly, it's going to take time to sort out. So it's repeated more on a regular basis.
I know one man doesn't make a team, but it's never easy when Ben's out of the team, is it?
No, it's not. And obviously you're looking for that power and strength and know-how and understanding, and really that's why it was a massive blow on Thursday. He's played Tuesday, and a huge blow on Thursday when we lose him for however long we're going to lose him for.
What's he done?
It's an aggravation of the same injury. He caught the ball on the end of his toe. We trained here on Thursday, and he caught the ball on the end of his toe in a crossing. Cross had come in. He was taking the touch to shoot. He actually didn't take the touch. He tried to shoot one touch. Been better if he'd have taken a touch because he wouldn't have got injured. But the ball's coming across at some force, and then he's gone through the ball with some force, and it's just opened it up again, which is giving him a little bit of pain. So it's not. Whilst it's not the same as before, it's an aggravation.
Right. Okay. Well, at least the international break's come at a good time, I suppose.
Yeah.
To take that. Okay. Obviously, transfer window deadline yesterday. Casey went. Could you just explain the thinking behind that and how that came about?
Well, that wasn't our doing. That was forced through from the player and the agent. He's in the last year of his contract. With Casey, you understand that as soon as you don't offer him a new contract, and I wasn't in a position to offer him a new contract, you know what he's likely to do and how he's likely to be, and there's no point having him. So he's been brilliant while he's been here. But it's just the nature of the beast, and agents that agitate to get moves for the players when they want. So it was just a case of we could have dug our heels in, that's for sure, but to get a fee for him, the player that we got on a free transfer, it's not ideal. It really isn't ideal because you feel like you're a little bit weaker coming out of it, but ultimately we're not. Could we have done something else? Potentially, but it just came so late in the window. You've got no time to react and do. We have to do the work. We have to do the due diligence. The players that are there that we quite like, and they've already gone. So you end up in a position like we're in. So you end up, and I think deadline day for everybody anyway. I think everybody watches it and gets excited about it, and it's like a spectacle for them. And for us, I think there's anxiety. It's an anxiety-inducing day. People are doing business, people aren't doing business. It's just one of those things. But the reality of it is that we've done our business early, so we're not in a position where you don't ever want to be in a position where you've got to do things on a deadline day because you get your pants pulled down, excuse the phrase, because there is so many people involved that try and get involved that mean it costs an inordinate amount of money, and it's in a position, you're in a situation where you're spending far more than you need to. So as a business, we've got to do things in the way that we can do it because it suits our business model, and that is, that's where we are. So you're still looking at a discrepancy between the clubs. Whilst we're in a better position, I think the clubs now have spent more money this time, I think, since before COVID in the Championship. So they're starting to get money and starting to spend money and be confident doing it. And there's some really strong squads in the division. So it doesn't change. It gets harder all the time. So you've got to make sure that you're progressing with it and doing it in the way that you can for your club without putting your club in a position where you're going to get points deductions because you've been chasing the dream.
So did you make any bids for any players?
We were looking at something, but it didn't materialise, and it wasn't for the want of trying. You know, Doug's been brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, Dean's worked his socks off, and what you can't do is you can't keep going and keep going to try and get more and more in, because that's how clubs get into trouble, because the supporters, and that's what I'm saying, supporters have just got to remain really calm and not get carried away by the fact that, you know, we are desperate to get promoted. We're desperate to have a really good team in this division first, because that's the only way that you can make the step. And look, if it gets away from us and it starts to get away, then, you know, so be it. But that'll be because people have lost all sense of reality. So we just got to make sure that we stay calm, and it's a defeat 1-0. It always hurts me. Always hurts me. We lost the game there at Carrow Road last year, and I wasn't happy about that because of the nature of it. We were doing all right in the game. Had man sent off, and obviously the way that we ended up getting Tatsu injured again after last season, where they targeted him last season, different manager, same outcome. So I wasn't particularly happy with us and how we responded, because we've got to do exactly the same to the opponents, because nothing happens to the opponent, nothing happens to them. You know, actually Doyle's left one on Tatsu, hurt his ankle, and absolutely nothing happens. It's just, you know, it's just par for the course. It's not right. It certainly isn't right. But then we've got to get nasty.
What's Tatsu done? He's done his ankle, has he?
Yeah.
Is that a nasty one that will keep him out? Or
He's in a boot.
Oh.
He's in a boot.
So you've got to wait till it settles down.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. But that for me is a disappointment, you know, that we didn't really take the game by the scruff of the neck and go right. So
You'd like to see more aggression in you too.
Yeah.
Just in general terms, the window overall, you must be pleased, I think. What did you get, 7 in all, including Ephraim from January? 7 new players?
Yeah, I think it was 7. Yeah, 7. Come on.
Yeah.
7. About 7. I think it was 7. So I'm pleased. I'm pleased every time we get somebody in that's going to make us better. I think, you know, there's been significant change, hasn't there? You know, because we've lost the senior players, which was always something that was a concern, and your senior players have to be the characters that are going to step up and organise it. And I've just seen 1 or 2 sort of characters emerging from that dressing room, so that was interesting. So it's been a tough day, really, tough to take in terms of the result. Performance was a bit okay first half, not brilliant, nothing to write home about, but I thought we were more likely to score, better chance, blah blah blah. But the second half, I thought it just got away from us because we lost a little bit of discipline, and at times where you get pulled apart, and if you make the wrong move at the wrong time, they're gonna punish you, and that's where they got the goal, and the tails were up, you know, and I thought that they were a little bit nervy and a little bit jittery, and they were there for the taking. But we just weren't at that stage today where we could capitalise on that and take the 3 points or even a point.
Just finally from me, Fabio was linked with interest from Reading with a loan deal. Was the point that Casey, if that was true, was Casey's move, did that mean that you wouldn't let him out anyway?
I think there was a little bit more to it than that. But again, it's not my remit now. That's sort of taken away from me. But I think with Fabio, I'm happy that didn't materialise, that move. So different players, totally different players. But you know, you can't have too many strikers. You can't have too many. But then they've got to perform and be ready to go. So there's a few going away on international duty now. Hopefully we'll get them back unscathed and we can get some work into them. But they'll get a bit of a breather now. We'll get a bit of a breather for a few days, and then we'll be back into work. There'll be some in most of the week, but some will be away to do their duty for their countries.
But Fabio's shown, hasn't he, in glimpses last season, not least against Man United, you know, what he can do, what he's capable of, and I guess you just want to see more of that, I suppose, on a consistent basis.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I say, whoever you've got in your team, what stops is you stop sort of like looking and going, right, okay, we can rotate these now. They've got to earn a place. They have to earn a place. And whilst it's great that we've got that number there, they've got to go and earn that right to be, right, okay, I want to play. It's the number one. I'm the number one. You've got to pick me, you know. But we've got some good depth in there that needs to step up. So ego's at the door.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Well, just a quick one on that transfer window. Would you rather the transfer window was closed before the season started? It must be a hell of a distraction.
I'd rather there not be a transfer window. That's what I'd rather. I'd rather it go back to you could do transfers anytime. But if we're going to have a transfer window, then yeah, it shouldn't be during the season. As soon as the season starts, it's got to have shut. Yeah, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to start the season with, like Burnley, with a load of players and now they've got more or less a different team. You know, so it must be difficult for everybody concerned. But it's certainly difficult for us because you've got a number of people that are agitating to get moves, to unsettle people, to create turbulence. So you have to do something, or may have to do something, or may end up getting an unhappy player. But honestly, they just need to get a bit of reality check. I mean, you look at normal life and you look at football, and it's just totally out of kilter, totally out of proportion. You know, people just need to get a reality check and just understand that we're really fortunate in this game, and the fact that you get a contract, that you've got to go and work for the people that come and pay their hard-earned money to watch you. You know, that's all you're required to do. But as far as the transfer window shut, yeah, it should be shut before the season starts. Okay.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.